Hi, this is Rob Leo, and in this tutorial, we're going to continue to look at Pear Deck. In the previous tutorial, you saw how to create an account, and you saw how to build some slides from scratch, as well as import slides from Google Slides, and also add some interactivity by asking a variety of question types. As you can see, I've built my slide deck. I've got a sampling of different question types built in. I can also do stuff on the fly, but I just wanted to demonstrate what this might look like from the student perspective once you get started delivering this to the students. So to get started, we're just going to click Start the Presentation or Start Presenting. And it will prompt the students to go to Pear Deck to log in with a secret code that the teacher shares with the students. But before we do so, you can see that it's giving the teacher instruction on how to present this to the students. Some teachers might use their laptop to mirror what's on their laptop. Others might use extended desktop. You just want to make sure that whatever's on your projector is this particular browser window. And when you're all set, you can say, okay, I see it on the projector. And then you'll direct your students to join PD, joinpeardeck.com, and put in this code, Insincere Ninjas Notice Underwhelmed Submarines. I'm going to move this teacher view to one half of my screen. I'm going to pull up the student view. It's telling me to go to joinpd.com. And from there, it's asking me to connect my Google account and then type in the code, INNUS. And it's waiting for the teacher to actually begin the presentation. Notice you can look at the slides as a teacher. You can turn that navigator on and off, and you can advance to the next slide. So I want to do some pre-teaching before I actually start my lecture. What do you know about the rise of Islam is the question that is posed to the students, and they can respond here. Recall, this was a long answer question, a long text box, paragraph text. The students could expand on their ideas and insert that into the presentation. The teacher would see what the students are typing. And if a single student wants to interject with another response, they certainly can. If you have more students in the class, you'll see all of the responses as well. And you can see those come in real time. So if you want to have like a running list of answers as they come in, notice the teacher cannot moderate. The answers come in as is. I'm not sure if the reports show who said what after the fact, but certainly you can see student responses on and off as you proceed through your lesson. If we go to the next slide, I can actually begin my lecture, introduce the topic, and if you recall, when I was building this, I posed a question, yet another long answer question. This time, instead of doing it on a slide from scratch, I did it on one of the slides from my Google Slides presentation, and I just wanted the students to observe the piece of art. They can pop it out to full screen. If they press escape on the keyboard, it'll bring it back down, and then they can document their observations here. And with the student responses, you can kind of see how the students respond in real time as you are presenting this slideshow. We'll turn that back off. Maybe I want to ask another question about this same piece of art. Why do you think his face is covered? So if I wanted to ask a new question, I could use the current content and just simply ask this question on the fly. I do want to make this a free response question. So if I want to have a long text answer, short text answer, or numeric answer, I could. If I want to make up a multiple choice question, I could do that as well. Let's do that one more time. You can ask a yes or a no, true, false, or an A, B, C, D question where you verbally deliver the choices to the students. You could have the students draw on the image, draw on a grid, or draw on a blank slide. You could also drag a dot, agree or disagree, or give a thumbs up or thumbs down. In this case, I did want a long text response question. And again, without any setup, I can simply verbally deliver my question. Why do you think his face is covered? And as a teacher, I can see this and project it to the students so they can see the responses in real time as well. Pretty handy tool for using stuff or making stuff up on the fly, which oftentimes happens in the course of our lectures and so forth. Again, delivering more content. lockstepping the students so they can't advance the slides or go back. Again, more delivery of content. And then this time it was a multiple choice style question that I interspersed among the slides ahead of time. Which of the following is not one of the 5 pillars of Islam? And again, if the teacher wants to show the responses, you can kind of get a bar graph showing how many kids responded to each one of those particular questions. Does not reveal the right answer, but it's assuming that the teacher knows what the correct answers are. Again, more content delivery, more content delivery. Now we have a map. Let's say I want to use this as a means for asking a draw it style question. What I could do, again, on the fly without any preparation, I could ask a new question with this map. I could have the students draw on the image. I could ask them, again, verbally to circle the Arabian Peninsula. And what they might do, notice you have a pencil, you have a highlighter, lines, text, and an eraser. I could just have them simply circle on the map. And again, all these results would come back to me in real time, and I could later project that back so that folks could see. If there were more than one response, you could see how those responses play out. This time I had a draggable question. There's a little green compass wheel. You might recall from the previous video, the question was to locate the Arabian Peninsula by dragging the compass wheel where it belongs. And again, if I'd like to reuse this particular map, I could once again ask something on the fly. In this case, maybe I want to ask something similar. Drag the dot on the image. This time I might ask, locate the city of Cairo, for example. And the students could drag their dot, generally speaking, to where Cairo might be located. And again, the teacher can project that just like they can with anything else. I can gauge for understanding. Do you think you understand how Islam originated? The students could drag that little dot to the thumbs up or thumbs down. That way I kind of take a pulse of the class so I can know if my content is being delivered properly, if it's being understood properly. And again, like anything else, I can project that so the students could see. Imagine a class of 25 kids. You would see exactly where each kid put the dot. You can kind of crowdsource it, and at this point, you'd want to either reteach or move forward. More content, and then that pretty much wraps it up. So when I'm all set, I can click End Session. Let's click End Session. We'll give this a name. Call it Demo Live Session. You may want to give it an intuitive name with a date and time. So now that my session has ended, if I return to the menu, notice I can return to my home screen. I can look at all of my sessions. I can copy it. I can rename it. All this stuff happens to live in your Google Drive as well. So notice in your My Drive, you automatically have a folder that was created called Pear Deck. And inside that folder, you can see the decks that you've created. If I want to reopen that, notice I'm here in Google Drive itself, but there's an Open with Pear Deck option, and that'll bring me right back to the same exact spot. If you'd like to retrieve your results, one of the things you can do is go back to your menu, and if you look at your sessions, actually, let's go back to the home page. And from here, if you want to look at your sessions, you can retrieve the results. Notice for the demo live session, if I was to come over here to the side, I could look at the teacher dashboard view, which opens it back up for editing. If I click the dots, I can either reopen the session for a live session with students, I could rename it, I could archive it, or I could export it to a spreadsheet. Exporting to a spreadsheet will open up a Google spreadsheet, and from there you can see how each student performed on your questions. And you get a sense of how they answered the various questions. A lot of these were dragging, so it shows you the coordinates of where the student dragged content, or dragged the dot, rather. We're just about done with the time on this video, but just to recap, we did a live session, we retrieved it, and when we come back, we'll look at some of the other cool features that Pear Deck has to offer. Thanks for listening.